Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I'm your host, the Fellow KGB. You can follow me on Twitter at the Fellow KGB. It is Saturday, December 12th, about almost 11:20 a.m. Central Time. We're going to be going over our favorite player prop bets for Week 14, and I'm joined by the Fellow JGM, Jesse. What's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out.
Good morning. It's a blessed Saturday.
It's snowing. You're in Chicago. I'm in Wisconsin. We got some dusties.
We got dusties. We got rain still. It's cold rain though, so it's not great.
But it feels like fantasy playoff weather. Like this is football weather.
We're here.
Exciting. And I don't know. We're gonna help you guys. Hopefully, some of our takes here help you also with your fantasy lineups. But again, we are into the player prop show today. I just want to quick point out how we did last week. We kind of shifted our focus last week, and we did more touchdown bets. On the season, we are 45 and 75, 60%. That's a pretty fair percentage there for us. Our over-under props, that's a little bit weaker, but we're very strong in the touchdown bets lately. So we kind of leaned into this percentages last time. We hit the David Montgomery touchdown, Chris Carson, hit a James Robinson touchdown. We missed on the Miles Sanders touchdown, and that one felt bad, but we made up for it in other ways. And then Derrick Henry gets us his 6.5 receiving yards total here. And Baker Mayfield, we can never help ourselves here with the passing unders. But it was a pretty good week for us last week. 5 out of 7. And then just looking at the Draftkings Sportsbook, Jesse, did you want to talk a little bit about this 20% profit boost? And there might be a couple other specials here that interest you guys.
Yeah, sure. So if you are in a legal state where DK is allowed, you might as well take advantage this week. If you opt in, make sure you opt in before you place any bets. You'll be issued, I think you get one ticket for each game. So you can boost your profits by 20% for each game on one player prop bet. Which is just a free little boost on money. So it's kind of nice. I think it's a max bet of $50. So depending on what your unit size is, you throw a unit down, you get a 20% boost, and hopefully you win a little extra change for the holiday season. It's beautiful.
We're here to help you guys kind of sort through all of this mess and pick out some of our favorites. I think what we're going to do is we're going to look strictly at the touchdown scores, and we'll work our way through each game. So we're going to start with Kansas City and Miami here. This is a really fun game. When I was doing my start-sit charts, the thing that popped up to me was that these are some good defenses, and we love the Chiefs' offense for fantasy football, of course, but we're looking at some tough statistics here in terms of fantasy yards and points allowed when looking in PPR format. So the Dolphins, pretty good against the tight end, pretty good against running backs, pretty good against quarterbacks. They're kind of average against receivers, so maybe we lean in at Tyreek Hill again, who Tyreek Hill could have had a huge night against Denver. So I would bet I'd feel pretty good about him bouncing back this weekend. And then on the Chiefs side here, they do allow a good amount of tight end points here, so that might make us interested in Mike Gesicki. Of course, Myles Gaskin, Tua Tagovailoa, and Devontae Parker are interesting plays. But just looking at the touchdown, who's going to, if there's one player to score in this game, who's it going to be, Jesse?
Yeah, that's going to be Mr. Travis Kelce, who is, probably a top 5 receiver if you look at just his receiving stats this year. It's pretty nuts.
And sitting at minus 106, we typically want to get a Chiefs player on our board here. Travis Kelce at minus 106. I'm not sure how many touchdowns he's scored this season, but I would bet that, he's probably got a 50% chance of scoring. Do we like this at minus 106 here?
Yeah, that's right in the sweet spot. It's a little more favorable than the minus 112 if we're looking at over-unders on yardage. So minus 106, Travis Kelce, he's been looking good. He kind of, look at him. He scores every other, or sometimes he'll just string together a multi-touchdown games. He's a good bet. Like you said, it's over a 50-50 shot that he's going to score. Miami, decent against the tight end, but not fantastic, if I recall looking at those statistics.
Do we really count Travis Kelce as a tight end?
Right, exactly, yeah, and he's not your tight end. He transcends positions. If you were to make a case like Jimmy Graham did a few years ago about getting paid like a receiver, I don't think anyone would question that.
Right. And I am interested because Tyreek Hill didn't score a touchdown last week. He did, but they didn't review that one. And Tyreek Hill, man, he was on a touchdown streak. He's only had 3 games where he hasn't scored a touchdown all year. The odds are a little bit, lifted here at minus 134. Does that, would you rather just bet on Kelce, or are you interested in getting a little Tyreek Hill here too?
Tyreek Hill, he's a threat to score as well. So I mean, if you just cut their if you set the probabilities for both of them as 50%, you take the better odds in Travis Kelce.
Right. And then I guess, is there any other like Kansas City Chiefs here? I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been kind of frustrating the last few games. He didn't even play at all last week, and he's plus 130. I don't feel great about this. We're kind of into Sammy Watkins, but at plus 225, he hasn't really done much in his last 2 games yet. So I'm not really feeling too great about anybody else, and I think it's super easy for the Chiefs. Like you want Kelce, you want Hill, and I think I'm gonna like pretty much just stay away from everything else.
Yeah, you nailed that one.
I guess on the Dolphins side of things, like they're pretty tricky to guess too. You got Myles Gaskin at plus 125, Mike Gesicki plus 180, and then Devontae Parker plus 175. Do you like if there's one guy here to score, who would it be?
Mike Gesicki's now strung together a touchdown in back-to-back games, which is, I think, the first time in his career. So that's kind of cool. Devontae Parker has been playing well. It looks like, Devontae's one of the guys that if Fitzpatrick is in, we really like Devontae Parker. So with Tua's a little bit more more difficult to predict what's going to happen, but he has picked up his play in recent weeks. So maybe this is, a trend.
And I really like, because we were kind of nervous about Tua with his, with the tight end and with the receiver, but you see 11 targets for Gesicki last week. That was kind of eye-opening there for me. And then with Devontae Parker, this guy, I don't know how to even think about this, because he went 4 for 35. He did see 8 targets, and then the week before he had that monster game with Fitzpatrick. But there's just almost way too volatile for me to get into the Devontae Parker odds. But I do think Myles Gaskin's going to get the touches if they get close. That's going to be the guy here that I think, if I'm going to bet on one Dolphin to score, it would be Myles Gaskin. And then the thing, I mean, how do you game plan to beat the Chiefs? I think you have to run the ball. You want to keep Mahomes on the sideline, and you want to make sure you guys are getting into good, third and shorts, and just making sure that you guys are on track and efficient. So I do like Myles Gaskin, but I think from this game as a whole, Travis Kelce to score touchdowns is the one that interests me. We'll quick take a peek at the yardages here. Mahomes is over 310. Tua is at 325 or 235. Do you think anything here in the passing overs?
Interested in the Tua line just because, if KC does what they do. But, I think the Miami can find some success on the ground against Kansas City. Kansas City's run defense is actually not very good. So this game sets up pretty nicely for Gaskin. And if Miami's going to stick, if you think Miami sticks close enough to make this a game, they're going to need to score 3 or 4 touchdowns, which means Gaskin's probably finding the end zone at least once. So,
yeah, and then they got Gaskin at. We're looking at the rushing numbers now here, and I can't really advise putting any kind of bet on a rushing total for the Chiefs, whether it's Clyde, Le'Veon, Mahomes. So that's kind of just crossed off my board here. But Myles Gaskin, we do know that he's going to get the carries, and basically his first game back last week, like they didn't care about snap counts or kind of easing him back in. Like they basically just threw him back in there, and he was back to what he was before with 21 carries, 90 yards, a couple catches there. But just looking at his game logs here, he's only had a couple games where he's been under this. So the 47 here against the Rams, really good defense. Not sure what happened against Buffalo. I think this might have been a game where they didn't need him to run the ball very much, only 46 here. But I still think they were trying to figure out, their offense back in here. I mean, basically from week 3 on, he's been over this number all but 2 times. So 54.5, I'm intrigued. Do we want to click this and think about this one later?
I think it's worth checking. I mean, take a peek over at Kansas City's defense once. Well, let's just see what they've allowed to rushers the last couple of weeks. This probably could solidify our take on this one. And
the part that I like about Gaskin is because we know that, I really value knowing volumes, and it's kind of like a David Montgomery situation. Myles Gaskin's getting probably 90% plus of that backfield. Same with James Robinson. So those are kind of the guys that I like to bet on, because we kind of know what's going to, be the output. So just looking quickly, last week they played the Bengals. Nothing really happened here.
I think you're on the Dolphins. I think you're on the Dolphins.
Looking at the Chiefs. My bad. Where are the Chiefs? There we go. So last week against Denver, Melvin Gordon 131, Philip Lindsay 26. They ran the ball 29 times here. So Melvin Gordon hits. Ronald Jones with Tampa Bay hits 66 yards. Josh Jacobs just hit 55. Christian McCaffrey hits. The Jets are the Jets. So this was a 3-headed committee here. 8 carries for LaMichael Pirine, 3 for Ty Johnson, 10 for Frank Gore. this is not a situation that I feel would.
That's 21 carries, over 70 yards.
So as a whole, they hit. And then back again, Denver hits 2 running backs, 68 and 79. Buffalo, this was a weird game. This was that weird rain game in Buffalo on a Monday afternoon. So this one they were kind of forced to throw, and they were behind the whole game. So I kind of feel like we can throw that game out. And then looking back at Las Vegas, 77 and 62. The New England Patriots that had 145 here. A lot of rushing attempts in this one. Baltimore, this was a really weird game for Baltimore. Baltimore got put right behind early in this one. They didn't have to run the ball. They couldn't play their style of offense.
They scooped up 79 yards and 11 carries there. I'm seeing.
Yeah, we know Myles Gaskin's getting probably at least 15, 16 carries tomorrow. And then Austin Eckler, Josh Kelly, 93 and 64. Woo, this one feels good, man.
Yeah.
Myles,
I'm liking that one a lot.
Myles.
I mean, like you said, Ahmed still hurts. Matt Breida, they just haven't. He's been banged up, and they just haven't ever shown an interest in using him. Jordan Howard's off the team. Patrick Laird is Patrick Laird.
So it's DeAndre Washington's the primary backup tomorrow.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be full steam ahead, just like last week for Gaskin.
So we like that. And then just quickly looking at the receiving props here. Devontae Parker looks like he's been bet up here at minus 130 with 56.5 total yards. Tyreek Hill chilling at 80.5. If we don't like the touchdown from Hill, we could get into this yardage prop here. I think he's second in the NFL in yards too. I think only maybe behind DK Metcalf, and then Kelsey at 75.5. If I'm betting on anybody's yards here, those would be the two guys that I think I would be interested in. Does anything stick out here for you?
No. I like the touchdown. I like the rushing yards. I think we covered our bases on this game.
Just out of curiosity, I just want to see where Tyreek Hill ranks in total receiving yards. So Tyreek is second to just DK Metcalf. Justin Jefferson third. Oh my God!
Wow.
So 6 receivers over 1,000 yards on the season. Looks like Terry McLaurin's going to be able to hit this weekend as well. So a lot of fun here with Tyreek Hill. If you wanted to get that, I think that's probably a bet that I would put like in asterisks underneath our actual bets. Maybe something on Tyreek Hill there. So let's bounce over to another game here. This one's fun, man. Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me just show you something real quick on fantasyfellowship.com. So I've been doing this all year. I've been doing my start-sit charts, and then I'll show you guys the fantasy points allowed here. This is the second time that this has happened all season that I've got all green 8s.
It's a Christmas tree, baby. It's a holiday giving season.
It is going to be very fun here for fantasy football. James Robinson must play on Jacksonville's side. I think everyone knows that by now. But then Corey Davis is all of a sudden, hey, I'm pretty good still. You should have me in your lineups. A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. A lot of interest here on the Titans side. Jonnu Smith's going to be playing in this one. And then you got DJ Chark. I think he's fully healthy again now, and he's actually looking pretty decent with Mike Glennon in terms of targets and downfield passing. But a guy to keep an eye on that's been catching my eye is Colin Johnson the last couple games. He's played really well with Mike Glennon here. Actually, I'm gonna pull up Colin Johnson's numbers because if I haven't looked at the Jaguars passing odds or numbers or touchdown stuff yet.
Sure.
But Colin Johnson the last 2 games with Mike Glennon here. Now week 12, DJ Chark was out, so he goes 4 for 96 and a touchdown. Last week against Minnesota, a game that went to overtime, he gets 4 for 66. So you're seeing, I mean, this is a pretty good trend here where Mike Glennon's looking for him quite a bit. 4 for 4, 4 and 4 for receptions, and then some big yardages here. So this is a big play threat guy.
Part of me wonders now with DJ Chark coming back. Looks like he was good this week. Last week there were still question marks, so I wonder if Chark wasn't fully back yet. So I wonder if we'll get the Jags offense back. 100%.
He only went 2 for 41. He did have 7 targets. And we only have last week to go off of with him with Mike Glennon.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of explains, he wasn't practicing with Mike Glennon the last 2 weeks. 2 for 7, maybe that gets a little bit more efficient there. But it's been tough for DJ Chark. He's only had 100-yard game all season. You see a 95 and an 84, and then everything else is pretty pedestrian.
Yep.
I guess, are the touchdowns there? 1, 2, 3, only 4 touchdowns on the year. He's sitting down here at plus 180. Do you think it's a DJ Chark touchdown, or would you rather just dive into somebody else here?
Yeah, I mean, just looking through the odds here, I mean, Tennessee's implied for 30 points, so where do the touchdowns come from? You have to imagine Derrick Henry is going to get his share.
Minus 335.
Yeah, we're not touching that line unless your units are gigantic. James Robinson, 134 is not terrible. I don't know. Tennessee's a weird team, but you just don't know where the touchdowns are going to come from outside of Derrick Henry, so it's hard to really trust anybody else unless you're thinking it's A.J. Brown week.
A.J. Brown, I don't think he's scored in 2 straight games.
But like for minus 106, that's Travis Kelce odds. Like, you just hammer that.
He's got 8 touchdowns on the year. Look he's never had more than 2 games in a row without a touchdown. So is this A.J. Brown touchdown week?
Are you following the patterns? Are we going to trust the pattern?
The other thing too is he should have scored last week. He fumbles at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, that was and somebody else scooped up his was that Ferkser that got the touchdown or something?
Michael Pruitt.
Oh, Pruitt with a 2-touchdown game.
I respect I feel really good about James Robinson scoring tomorrow. It's minus 134. I'm not excited about those odds.
Well, here's the thing. The nice thing is you plug that in, you opt in for the 20% profit boost.
There you go.
And that goes from minus 134 to, let me tell you, you get that at minus 112, which is a standard over-under bet. You feel a little bit better about that minus 112.
So we're putting James Robinson touchdown on our website for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, Travis Kelce, all these things, if you're taking one bet from each game, you just have to factor in. I mean, you're telling me that I'm going to get Travis Kelce, at what odds am I going to get him at? I'm going to get him at plus 114 to score a touchdown? Absolutely. Like, you're feeling good about these. So DK is being friendly. They want you to put a lot of bets out, hoping that you hit your favorite ones, and then you just sprinkle in a couple that you're not so sure about, but you're throwing on there. So our goal here is to try and feel good about these bets, lock in some good, solid profits.
You only get 120% boost on every game?
Yeah.
Wow. So you could literally do one bet from every game this week and get the 20%?
If you take, yep.
It is officially Christmas season over here. Because
DK was locking this in early in the year for the first 2-3 weeks. They were trying to get people on board. And 20% is big though. I mean, that's
all right. So if you guys play on DraftKings, I think you guys almost are rewarded to put a touchdown prop down on almost every game, even if it's a bad odd. Like, sure, Derrick Henry way too high up here in the minus 335s, but James Robinson, really good odds to score. A.J. Brown, really good odds to score. I would bet one of these guys scores, if not both. So James Robinson, say you don't even do the odds boost and you're sitting at minus 134, you put a 20 piece down on it, you're going to win $15.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, 100 wins you 75. So it's not a double up, but I'll take 75% of that back there. So I do like James Robinson. Are we interested in putting another one down here with A.J. Brown, or do you want a quick look at some of the receiving and the rushing?
Yeah, I think if we're just throwing one TD bet down, that's the one that I'm going to take, James Robinson, yes. And then again, I mean, I'm thinking about this, Travis Kelce, A.J. Brown, same odds. I'm taking Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Sure. I can see where people are excited about the A.J. Brown. Tennessee's implied for 30 points. Jacksonville's a Swiss cheese defense.
I'll put A.J. Brown in the category below our bets that don't count for our record. He'll definitely be on the website in italics. So
right.
We do feel good about that. Quickly looking at the over-under receiving yards here.
Corey Davis has usurped A.J. Brown.
So Corey Davis at 64.5, A.J. Brown 57.5, but people are catching on to that minus 125 there. Derrick Henry 8.5. We hit on that last week. I don't think we wanted to try
one catch, baby, for 9 yards. It was
all we needed. But I can't comfortably DJ Chark. Give me the under in this one. I feel comfortable with the under at this point, but nothing really sticks. Because we just looked at this. Look at this holy grail of greens.
I mean, something's gonna hit, right?
Something's gonna hit, for sure. I don't know who. If I had to pick one, if I'm picking one, it's A.J. Brown, but at minus 125, not really excited about that.
Well, if you get Well, here's the thing. You only get to use one of your profit boosts. So would you rather take James Robinson minus 134 or A.J. Brown over minus 125 and boost those?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the website in the category that we're not counting towards, we'll put A.J. Brown touchdown and we'll put A.J. Brown over 57.5.
It feels like an A.J. Brown game for sure.
So why don't we just put A.J. Brown like above? I don't know. But James Robinson minus 134, probably going to score for sure here. And then, I don't know, nothing really sticks out. I mean, if I'm going to bet on a receiver, it's Corey Davis or A.J. Brown, but because A.J. Brown's less yards, like we've seen him take slants to the house multiple times this year. And he's playing Jacksonville, so like this one feels.
So you just want to swap James Robinson with A.J. Brown? And I mean, what is your take on this? I mean, who do you feel is better? Who scores the touchdown? I mean, James Robinson, A.J. Brown?
James Robinson's going to score.
All right, there we go.
A.J. Brown likely to score. I would say the odds of James Robinson scoring are probably 90+%, and you're sitting at A.J. Brown probably at 80+%. Just looking at the history here for A.J. Brown, the dude scores touchdowns. Like the odds of both these guys scoring tomorrow, very, very strong. And A.J. Brown, he's basically at where he was last year. And only 10 games to 16 games. A.J. Brown, man, he is a touchdown threat. He should have scored last week too. So he's out of any receiver in the league right now, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown's probably the next best guy that I would predict to score a touchdown for his team. So I don't know. Maybe we because he's at what, minus 106 in the touchdown department?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we just check it because, I mean, if we're both feeling pretty good about it, like we shouldn't be shy. And at minus 106, even like if you're listening to this and you disagree with James Robinson, maybe that makes more sense to take the odds boost on an A.J. Brown touchdown for you. It's better odds too, so more money on your return there. So I guess looking at let's just pop over to the rushing totals here real quick. Like, of course, we got two studs. Both are guys. They're going to get the ball probably 20+ times each. Derrick Henry minus 118 at 107.5 yards. James Robinson 77.5. Any of these guys stick out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked when they both hit the over.
This game is
Derrick Henry at 108. Like he's probably going to get his 100-yard rushing game. It's Derrick Henry. I mean, I think we have enough other juice on this game that I think we can lean into those touchdowns, or possibly A.J. Brown over on the receiving.
So these guys will probably make the list on the italics underneath the website.
There's a lot of fun games this week for sure. The Titans-Jags is one of them.
Again, man, just everything lights up here. Everything lights up. So there's going to be a lot of bad defense plays here.
Right.
So get your studs in your lineup there. We'll move on quickly to the Vikings and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game also feels kind of like it could get out of hand. Both secondaries have been beat up pretty badly lately against their opponents. Just looking at the touchdown odds, they really like Dalvin Cook here at minus 162. I think this could be a bigger focus for the Tampa Bay offense to get Ronald Jones going this week. He's at minus 112. He's their most favorite player to score a touchdown. Well, Mike Evans minus 106. Chris Godwin plus 115. If I'm betting on a Bucs touchdown, Godwin, Evans, Jones. Godwin at plus 115, man. Who's your Buccaneer if you're taking a Buccaneer to score?
This is a game that the Bucs need to win. The Vikings need to win. Playoff hopes. This is like one of those games where it's two playoff contenders. They're both kind of right in the mix of that, those wild card spots. Man,
it's for sure the one game, the noon game that I'm gonna have locked. Like I'm home this weekend, so we have two TVs. We're having the Bucs Vikings game on TV, and then we'll have Red Zone on in the other one.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk's hot, Brady's not. Man,
Godwin hasn't been scoring touchdowns this year, so.
Yeah,
only 3 touchdowns on the year, but you do see here he doesn't really. I mean, he scores sporadically. I would say the targets are looking nice the last couple games. I think they're starting to realize Antonio Brown shouldn't be targeted as much as he is. So if I'm feeling a receiver here, it's Evans, it's Godwin, and then the thing with Mike Evans, man, is we don't know what to do with his yardage props, which we'll look at in a second here, but the dude is Tom Brady's go-to touchdown maker on the season right now. Mike Evans, 11 touchdowns. He's almost got a career high in touchdowns with Tom Brady right now. It's hot. it's hot, man. And you see here to start the year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games here. He's now riding a 3-game touchdown streak. Are we just going to board the Mike Evans Express?
Yeah, I mean, it's another one, -106. These are these -106 touchdowns that we like. If we hit 2 out of the 3, we're making money.
So why don't you, if you wanted to, couldn't you just bet on a Mike Evans touchdown with the odds boost and then just take a Chris Godwin one on the side at +115?
Yeah, you're getting both those odds at 115.
That's great.
So one of them is going to score a touchdown. If they both do, it's gravy. If only one does, it's a small profit.
It's a win-win, I think. And at this point, because we're
I kind of like the Gronk pivot though. If I'm going to go Evans Gronk at 135, Gronk's got Gronk. It's Gronk and Evans in the red zone for Mr. Brady.
It sounds like we're all in on the Bucks and Tom Brady. So Gronkhouse, he hasn't scored a touchdown in a while here.
Yeah,
games without touchdowns, but he has been, I guess, compared to the beginning of the season, he's been playing better, especially in terms of targets the last 2 weeks. 6 for 106 against the Chiefs. And here's the thing: Sigmund Bloom all week, he's been pointing this out. Going up against Minnesota, Minnesota's best cover linebacker, maybe the best cover linebacker in the NFL, and Eric Kendricks is not playing. So I'll show you what the Jacksonville Jaguars tight ends did last week after Kendricks, he got hurt in the warm-ups. He couldn't go out and play. So you're going to look at Tyler Eifert here and James O'Shaughnessy. 6 for 45 for Tyler Eifert, and then 4 for 41 for James O'Shaughnessy. So that's 10 catches for 86 yards just from, the tight end position there. So Gronk looking like a pretty strong play. No touchdowns here, but again, Mike Glennon, Tom Brady, a little bit different situation there. So I'm interested in Rob Gronkowski at +135. Is this one we're checking? Should we just go in with it?
Yeah, I mean, take Evans, take Gronk. You get a touchdown from one of them. It's a small profit.
The thing about Godwin is I feel better about his yards.
Yeah, I just feel like he's the chain mover for Brady. On third downs, he's looking for Godwin. He finally did. He got the pin removed from his hand, I believe.
Yep.
So we might see him now without that huge, gigantic mitten on his hand. That could, maybe it's like a psychological thing for Brady. I don't know.
But I guess on the flip side here, you're sitting with Adam Thielen +105 and Justin Jefferson +130. This game is gold, man. All these touchdowns. I think this could be this. If you were to tell me the over/under on total touchdowns in this game, where would you put it?
Well, I think this is the highest implied over/under on the slate at 53 points. So I mean, we're looking at.
I would say 5.5. I think there's probably 5 touchdowns for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe 2, maybe 3 and 3 on each side. Otherwise, like a 4-2 situation. That's going to depend the game there. But a lot of opportunities here. Let me just quickly let's just pull up here because I know Adam Thielen has been on a tear for touchdowns this year.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I mean the Bucs defense is a little bit of a pass funnel right now.
Yes.
So maybe this is a game where Kirk has to continue doing his thing. Dalvin Cook maybe features more in the passing game as a whole. So we're gonna get some slinging. I'm hoping for a fun game. This is in the Dome or is this in Tampa Bay?
It's in Tampa Bay. So as you see here, both teams light up green compared to fantasy points against the receiver here. So I know it's fantasy points, not necessarily like actual touchdown points or yards or anything. But this game, man, especially you see Tampa Bay here, really strong against the running back. I don't think they've allowed a running back to go over 60 yards all season. So the Dalvin Cook under actually would intrigue me once we look at that. But in terms of receivers, I think this is where you want to make your money here. So I guess while we're here, we'd like these guys to score a touchdown. If you had to pick a Viking to score a touchdown, are you dabbling with Thielen or Jefferson?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Thielen seems to be the guy, man. He's got 12 on the year. There's no reason to think he can't continue that. Jefferson's got 7. I mean, they're both.
And Thielen's riding a 3-game streak, 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Against Chicago.
So is Justin Jefferson due? Because think about what Tampa Bay just did against Kansas City. What got them? Speed. And Justin Jefferson's quicker, and he's scored in 3 straight games. This is nuts. They've both scored in 3 straight games.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, it's a hot passing game right now, so you just got to continue to abuse it when you can. So it's another situation. You got, Thielen at 105, Jefferson at 130.
I'm
If you
getting
flip
nervous,
a
dude.
coin,
We're clicking on a lot of touchdown bets today.
I mean, this is where the mind takes you, and you go for it.
So, do you take both? Do you take one?
I mean, how many of these are we going to take? I mean, this is another game where there's probably going to be, like you said.
Do you take? Here's why I'll take Jefferson, because it's plus 130, and we've seen speed kills with Tampa Bay defender. So I think I would lean towards Jefferson at this point. Man, I feel so good about everything that we have on the board right now.
Right. I mean, one of them's going to score. You know, it's another situation where we've talked about, like, we're not set on who's going to score. So it's either you take them both or you take your favorite in the situation. You know, it's hard to, like, pinpoint who's the guy. I mean, we can look into the cornerback matchups, but that can get dicey. You can kind of dive into too far of a hole. So, I mean, I just think it's one of those secondaries that you just attack through the air, and you just you take the guy with the better odds and hope he finds the end zone.
So while we're here, let's just quick look at the overs for receiving totals here. We're kind of getting too much skin in this game here, but Adam Thielen, 74.5. I'd feel better for him to score a touchdown than the yards here. Justin Jefferson at 73.5. I feel better for him to score the touchdown, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Justin Jefferson. I feel Justin Jefferson can hit this over more than Adam Thielen, just because, like we said, we've seen Tyreek Hill and a couple other receivers with speed get past the secondary here. Tampa Bay safeties aren't great. They're young. So I think Justin Jefferson would be the guy that I would choose for receiving over. And then in terms of receiving overs for Tampa Bay, give me Godwin at 65.5. But I did notice Mike Evans 58.5, and he's plus 105. The yards have been tough for him. And then you did just say Gronk at 35.5. This is a smash. That's a hit. That's a hit.
Yeah, Tampa Bay receivers. I mean, we talked about it. Who's gonna get the yardage? We don't know. You know, they're all hovering right around the 60-yard mark. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 of those 3 hit. But I also think that Gronk at 35.5 just seems a nice.
That's too easy.
That could be 3 catches. It could be an 8-target, 5-catch game. It could be, you know.
So just out of curiosity, 106 for Gronk last week, 25 against the Rams, 51 against Carolina. Not sure what happened in this New Orleans game too, but then 45, 62, 78, 52. And then again, I pointed out before we started this, Eric Kendricks, their best cover linebacker, is out. The Vikings just allowed the Jaguars 2 tight ends to combine for 86 yards. So
they both hit that, right? They both hit over 35.5.
Yeah, they both had over 40 yards.
That's a smash play for me.
So I think we'll have to reassess our situation here. We're clicking on a lot of bets right now, but we're up to 8 so far. So I guess without anything else in this game, like, do we really need to hit on the rushing unders or overs here?
Don't love the running backs in this game. Maybe Ronald Jones, but
yeah, I think we're pretty much well invested in this game enough with the passing games. So we will move on to our next game here. And Cardinals-Giants, I think this one will be quick. Do you feel what's going to happen in this game? Can you sell me on anything?
Desperation from Arizona to keep themselves alive in the playoffs. A New York Giants team that is sitting in first place in the division on a 2-game win streak after beating Seattle. They're feeling good. This is an interesting game all around. I mean, as you can tell, DK doesn't really know what's going to happen. Everyone's plus on the TD market. I don't know what's going to happen.
Kyler Murray hasn't ran for a touchdown in 3 straight weeks.
It's an unpredictable Arizona without Kyler running, and it's a Giants team with Colt. Is Daniel Jones playing now? He's back, so
it sounds pretty good. Yeah.
What are we going to get? I don't know. I think there's enough. We got enough other juice that I
kind of want to just skip this game. This is for a quick fantasy advice. Yeah, we like Kyler Murray, but the dude has not been running. You see 5 attempts here the last 3 games, no high of 31 or under 31 in each game here. No touchdowns rushing for 3 straight games here. I could see that changing if you wanted to dabble and you wanted to get, because of this 20% odds boost in every game. Kyler Murray plus 110 to score. That would be the one that I would take if you needed something. Otherwise, I have a really difficult time figuring out what's going to happen in this game.
I think with the Kyler Murray situation in the red zone, they've just been handing it off to Kenyon Drake a bunch. So maybe Drake's the guy.
One of these guys will rush a touchdown in. Drake or Murray, one of them will score. Drake's on a little touchdown streak right now. I think 2 straight games, maybe 3 touchdowns in the last couple.
I think he's got 2 in a row. He didn't get one that first game back, but he had to rack up like 110 yards, and then he scored in 2 straight. So,
yeah, I don't even want to look at the receiving overs. I just not feeling comfortable about anything in this game.
No, we can move on. It's pretty good 2 pass defenses.
So before we get to the Texans and Bears, we got a question real quick in the chat room. I want to pull up here from Cali Cowboy. Should we drop Hunter Henry or Marquise Brown? He has Travis Kelce. He's been holding on to him to keep him away from other owners, but I need the space. And he's saying Marquise Brown is his wide receiver 4 behind McLaurin, Godwin, and Cooks, and is on bye this week. So
is he saying to drop Hunter Henry for Marquise Brown? Is that what?
Drop Hunter Henry. He has Henry on that's his tight end 2, and then he's got Marquise as his wide receiver 4. And he has Kelce, so he's not using Hunter Henry at all. Is that a better hold than are you ever going to start Marquise Brown with confidence? Essentially over any of those 3 receivers we just looked at here with McLaurin, Godwin, and Cooks?
Probably not. Marquise Brown is he's just not reliable. Hunter Henry, if you're looking at your teams in the playoffs, I'd be looking to see those tight ends because tight end's such a wasteland. Hunter Henry's a quality tight end, so that could boost one of those playoff teams if you're looking at those teams.
Assuming if you're on a bye, I'm assuming there's 4 teams playing this weekend probably. I would assess the situation. If you see any of those teams really weak at tight end, that would be like, hey, I'm adding Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry would have more value for me just because the landscape of tight ends is garbage. And I think people would be indecisive to go pick up a Marquise Brown and start him and use him. And also, too, the thing with Marquise Brown, that could be a sabotage drop. He's been on a touchdown streak. And even though Lamar looked good, the potential of Marquise Brown doing a 2 for 14, that's entirely in the range of possibilities. So I think I'm going to hold Hunter Henry here and drop Marquise. Any thoughts? Quick, good to go.
Yep.
Cool. So Texans and Chicago Bears. Are we diving into the Montgomery train plus 105 here? Is he scoring a touchdown this week against the team that allows the most rushing yards to their opponent?
Yeah, we've hit this one. I think 2 weeks in a row.
We're up to 9. So that's the one thing I feel really good about here. Just to kind of back up the numbers here, I do want to show you guys again that Houston against the running backs. This is a situation you want to target. We're going to filter here quick by rushing yards. The Texans are the worst. They've allowed 1,677 rushing yards in just 12 games.
And 15 touchdowns, which is, I think, second worst.
And they've also allowed 2 receiving touchdowns. So 17 total touchdowns on the season and a ton of yards in a game where it's in Chicago, cold weather game. They're not going to be running and gunning. And Montgomery's he's getting 20 touches. I think that's safe to say. So I really think we're into the Montgomery here at the touchdown odds. Any other feelings on these touchdown odds here? Allen Robinson plus 150.
Yeah, A-Rob was calling my name a little bit.
Maybe because Bradley Roby's not there. So let me just kind of quick pull up what the Texans have been. The Texans last week, let's see where they are. I can't find them. A lot of names to look at here. So last week they played Indianapolis. T.Y. Hilton did the dirty work here. Mohamed Sanu got a touchdown the week before. Demir Bird the week before. Looks like they blanketed Cleveland. And even DJ Chark got one here. So the number 1 receivers for these teams have been getting the touchdowns. So Allen Robinson, super intrigued. Plus 150, that's the best odds that we've talked about all day that we feel comfortable about.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest question is, Montgomery's like the one sure thing. With A-Rob near the goal line, we're just not sure that they're going to be passing the ball a lot with Trubisky. But we know they're going to be running the ball. So I think you take that profit boost. If I'm taking one bet on Houston versus Chicago, I'm taking David Montgomery at 105.
Yeah, that one's...
you get 20%, so now you're talking about that's close almost to plus 130 now. It's like plus 127 or something. That's, for a guy I feel comfortable about scoring this week, I feel good about that.
And the thing is, I like Trubisky this week, but Allen Robinson, He goes stretches the games here without touchdowns. It's not something I feel comfortable about. It's a less than 50% chance, where I feel like with Montgomery, it's more like a 60% plus chance that he scores tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, look at those last 4 weeks for Allen Robinson. Tennessee, bad secondary. Minnesota, bad secondary. Green Bay, good secondary. Detroit, bad secondary. And like he's getting the looks and the targets, but he's not really getting those end zone looks that you want your receivers to have, like Mike Evans, AJ Brown. Like they're getting end zone looks. They're getting scoring opportunities. A-Rob's good receiver, great receiver, just not getting designated plays to find the end zone.
Look at Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet, I mean,
to score.
That's a guy who gets the end zone looks in Chicago.
And he scored last week. This is a guy I'm keeping an eye on him, man. He's the last, because I do my opportunity report here where I look at the snaps, and he's been beating Jimmy Graham in the last few games here. And it looks like there's a small turnover here where they're trying to get him involved in the season this year so that he can be all systems go for next week or next year. So someone keep an eye on there. I think that could be kind of fun to watch.
It's a good dynasty buy. Got to put on your late round tight ends for next year.
Adam Troutman would be the other tight end I'm really keeping an eye on too.
Yeah, I want to see him take that step. Jared Cook needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting old, so.
Just looking at this Houston Texans Chicago Bears game, we really like the Montgomery touchdown. Should we just take a quick little peek here at let's just look at the receiving overs real quick.
Sure.
We got A-Rob, 71.5. I feel better about him hitting that than the touchdown.
Yeah, probably.
There's no Kiki Cutie on here. What the hell?
Yeah, so that's a weird one. That's weird he's not on there. Cooks has been questionable for the last 2 weeks.
Multiple injuries, too.
Yeah, so I just don't – Cooks is a guy who, he's already has a bad track record and he's banged up, so it's like you could take that and he could, first quarter be out for the game. I don't like that. So I'll probably staying away from the Texans side of this one.
Yep, but it's Allen Robinson if you like the over there.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I feel comfortable about. Quick look at the rushing prop. 67.5 for Monty. Again, this is a team that allows the most rushing yards to running backs. He's going to get 20 carries here. He just needs to run the ball for 3.3 yards per carry.
I wouldn't be surprised that if he hits that for sure. I just, touchdown at 105, I'll take that.
That's the better bet there, yeah. So we do think Montgomery's going to have a pretty good game here. They have Deshaun Watson listed, no Duke Johnson or anything. So for the most part, just stick with, I think, David Montgomery and think about Allen Robinson if you like the plus 150 on that side. Let's kind of skip to the next game here. Here. So we're going about 42 minutes. You got another 20 minutes or so for sure?
Yeah, about 20 minutes, I think.
Perfect. So Texans Bears, and we're going to skip on down to the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ugh.
How much do we need to talk about this one?
I mean, this is one of those ones where you got 3 receivers on Dallas who's going to score. You have a quarterback on Cincinnati that you just don't trust. Zeke has been,
Here's the one, because I looked at this game earlier, and I know Zeke is coming in with a calf strain, or not a strain. He's got a bruise on his calf, but he just ran for 70 yards against the Baltimore Ravens, and now he's playing the Bengals, and he's got 73.5 here on the board. That one intrigues me. But again, yeah, you kind of hit on it. The Dallas receiving numbers. We know Amari Cooper's the favorite probably to score a touchdown, but in terms of receiving prop yards here, this is nothing I can.
I got Gallup up at 50 now, CD at 50.
Staying away.
Yeah.
But I guess because we do have our 20% profit boost in every game, did you want to pick one guy to score a touchdown tomorrow? Let me get back down to it here. I mean, we know it's Ezekiel Elliott. You boost those odds to minus 114, maybe.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Dallas is kind of, you can run on Dallas. So, Joe Mixon, does Gio Bernard find a way to the end zone? I mean, do you feel good about that?
I'm comfortable with saying I don't feel good about anything.
Yeah, like I said, like I mentioned at the top, they're giving you these profit boosts because they want you to take a bet in every game. That doesn't mean you have to.
Andy Dalton revenge game.
Andy Dalton. It's a revenge game.
Let me just quick take a look at his passing yards, just out of curiosity here. 250. Not excited. I think Dallas can run the ball and play the way that they intended to play
Right.
in previous games here. So we'll skip this game. Not excited about that one at all. Looks like we're super excited about Tampa Bay and Minnesota as well as
Tennessee, Jacksonville. That's a good game. KC, Miami has some fun. I mean,
so Josh Jacobs is going to play, man. Josh Jacobs is going to play. They got him at minus 112. He's the best odds to score. They also have Devontae Booker up here too, which we know is not going to happen. But Jonathan Taylor, minus 106. That feels really good. I don't feel comfortable with Darren Waller coming off of his best game of the year. Everything happened for him last weekend. I tend
it was all clicking
here. Naheem Hines, T.Y. Hilton could have some more fun at plus 180. Anything else stick out here? I guess for you, if someone's going to score, who's it going to be?
Oh man, Indy is just the week. You think you have them figured out. You think this is it. JT, he's ascending. We thought that earlier in the season, and then all of a sudden, Naheem Hines came and had a 2-touchdown game, and Jonathan Taylor rolled the pine for a few weeks in a row. So it's a Frank Reich team, and it's hard to know who's going to do it. And I think that's their intention. I think their intention is to think, hey, you think you got us figured out? Not so fast. JT at minus 106 is nice. The Colts are going to score against Las Vegas. The Colts are one of those teams where they get a turnover, and all of a sudden they're at the 20-yard line, and then who gets in the end zone?
They've allowed the third most rushing touchdowns this season, and with 14. They've allowed also 2 receiving touchdowns, so that could be. I feel more comfortable to say Jonathan Taylor is more likely to score this week, and they're also they're recommitting to Jonathan Taylor right now with touches and receiving work. I think he's the guy that you're going to want of anybody in this game. So, do we click it? Is this one going on the website at boosted odds here even?
I mean, yeah, it's.
I'll put it under our, because we'll have I think we'll have at this point we're going to have quite a bit on the list, and I make a separate list of bets that we're into, but we won't count towards our record. But I do think Jonathan Taylor, if you want to bet one person in this game to score, that would be the guy that I would tell people to consider here. So I won't check it, but I don't know. Anything else in this Colts-Raiders game? Did you want to look at the receiving and the rushing numbers?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where, the Raiders they're beatable on defense. I mean, you can get to them. Phillip Rivers has played good. Colts are implied for 27 points. So, three touchdowns are getting scored probably by this Indy offense. So JT's probably going to get one. Hilton's been scoring, but not a guy I think I rely on to score touchdowns. Trey Burton, not a guy I rely on to score touchdown, but Trey's probably going to get some touchdowns in these next couple of weeks.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, so who's going to get the yards? Where's Michael Pittman at 47.5?
54.5 for TY?
TY 54.5. That's not a bad line.
I mean, this team just struggled against the Jets last week, man.
Right.
That would be – I'd feel more comfortable about TY over 54.5 than I do about him scoring a touchdown. So I do think I'm into that. And then Jonathan Taylor minus 124 with 15.5 receiving yards. He's been pretty good in that department lately, and that's a pretty low number, I think, for him.
Yeah, I think that's minus 124. So I think 15.5 yards is pretty much – might be the safer of the bets if you want to take a profit boost and lock in 15.5 over. That seems pretty fair. Efficient receiver, biggest question mark is it going to be him out there on the field? Right. What's his snaps? Can you go to the opportunity report quick? How's he been trending?
So last week, we see 48% of the snaps, 33 total. I think you care more about percentages. This is a game where they controlled the whole thing from the start. So you see 48%, 33 for Naheem. Let me quick look at just week 12, just out of curiosity. So here we go. The other game, this was a game where they trailed. So here's the perfect way to describe this, is do we think they're going to be losing like they lost to the Titans just came out and got on them right away, which led to more Naheem Hines.
Did JT just not play this game, or what's going on here?
This was the COVID game.
Oh, the COVID game, yeah.
So week 11, I think this is the Packer week. Yes. So Jonathan Taylor in a game where they were behind early, but then they kind of reestablished it in the second half. You see Jonathan Taylor dominate again, 56%. So I think this is more in a game against the Raiders. I don't see the Raiders coming out hot and jumping on them real quick in the first quarter or first half and making them throw the ball and get Naheem Hines on the field more. So I think the snap counts should be in his favor this week.
Also, I think important to note on this game, Anthony Costanza is back, which is gigantic. It's questionable, but I think he's trending towards playing, and that would be huge. They haven't had him for a few weeks.
So what about they removed receiving and rushing combined, didn't they?
I know they got rid of that as a whole, which I think for JT would have been a fun thing to look at. What are JT's rushing yards at?
That would have been the one that I wanted. So do we have to get something on this game? I'm not sure we do. The player that I'm feeling, though, is Jonathan Taylor. So if you like some of his numbers, I think that would be the guy that I'm looking for in this game.
Yeah, I think JT 15.5 receiving yards feels pretty good. What's his rushing total at?
It was like 54.
Because I don't hate that.
52.5.
And minus 118. That feels pretty good, too. I mean, I can get on board the JT train here and just kind of maybe they're opening him up, they're getting him more involved. As Kelly Cowboy says, they got to do what St. Louis did with Akers. Just let him go, let him ride.
I wanted to get to one of Callie's questions real quick here. DFS on DraftKings: Corey Davis at 5,700 or Curtis Samuel with no DJ Moore for 5,200. We'd really like that matchup against Jacksonville, but Curtis Samuel going against Denver.
That's also another juicy matchup.
And, I mean, you think about this. No A.J. Bouye, which is going to be a plus for Robbie Anderson for sure. But if you are, the defensive coordinator over in Denver, I can't remember who that is. I know, is it Vic Fangio? I know he's the head coach, but does he coordinate the defense as well?
Good question. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure he's got a heavy hand in it.
But Curtis Samuel is kind of the water bug guy, and no Christian McCaffrey either. So this is going to be a very easy, concentrated offense of Curtis, Mike Davis, and Robbie Anderson. Like, those are the three guys that are getting the ball. Like, that's 100% locked. So Curtis at cheaper price, that gives you $500. That could swing you, I think, a little bit more towards some better players elsewhere. So I think I'm interested in Curtis. And then the thing with Corey Davis, coming off his best game of the league or of his year last week, I think a lot of people are going to be chasing numbers with Corey Davis. So I think I'd like Curtis Samuel in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the two things you hit on there are cheaper price and lower ownership. And I think ceilings are, more or less the same. Corey Davis is probably going to be a little more stable, but if you're playing in a GPP, Curtis Samuel is definitely your better bet, more contrarian play.
The thing with Corey Davis too is the targets.
Volume's going to be lower for sure.
Sometimes he gets 3 or 4 targets a game, but he's been capitalizing on those. Mm-hmm. But then you have these just wild swings here. And then what if this is a Derrick Henry game where Tennessee scores on their first 2 drives, they're up 14-0, and all of a sudden Tannehill just has to throw the ball 21 times.
Right.
Whereas with Curtis Samuel going up against Denver, they're going to use him. He's going to probably get 2 carries, 3 carries, so maybe he pops one there. And then even if Carolina throws the ball 20 times, they're throwing the ball to 3 people, and we know who they are. So I feel pretty good about Curtis Samuel getting at least 8 touches in this one.
No DJ Moore, a nice concentration of targets. Curtis Samuel's a good bet.
So we like that there. We're going on about 54 minutes, so let's kind of do some rapid fire real quick. I don't think we need to dive too much into the remaining games here. We have been friendly with our boy Taysom Hill to score touchdowns. Where I'm looking for him here. Let's see. So Saints and Eagles. Taysom Hill at minus 175. No thanks. We can't even do that. Alvin Kamara minus 134. Put the odds boost in there. Maybe that could be kind of fun here. And then, Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. Just saying. Plus
that could be the John Heff shout out spicy tea lock of the century.
Right, I'm clicking it because plus 300, man. What you put $5 on that? You're gonna win 15. That's 4x. That's a 4xer almost, or it's a 3xer essentially with the plus
Yep.
300.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, outside that one's kind of intriguing for sure. But outside of that, we don't know what Hurts is going to do with the football.
But what do we know he can do
against a good Saints defense? I mean, we know that he can scramble, so things could get creative. I mean, if he scrambles and there's a breakdown in coverage, could be some crazy deep shot to
So they've only allowed one rushing quarterback touchdown here to Tom Brady all year.
To Tom Brady.
No other. I mean, to be fair, they haven't really played any rushing quarterbacks. Like, look at this list of old white dudes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, Herbs and Rodgers, but there's potential, but nothing happened there. It's a lot of old. There's no like running quarterbacks.
So I don't know. We'll think about it. I don't really feel great about anything in this game. Maybe Kamara. You odds boost Kamara and get him down to 112.
Yeah.
14. That could be the one, but I'm not going to put any of these on the website. I think I feel better about some of the other ones here. This could be a Latavius Murray game. This could be a Jordan Howard game for all we know, rushing in 1 yard touchdown.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, we can't trust the usage on any of the Philadelphia players.
We can't trust usage on the Saints players either, dude.
Trust usage on the Saints. Yeah, I mean,
like this is if you want to bet, go to the Minnesota Tampa Bay game. I think that's what we're going to tell people to do here. So this is kind of rapid fire, so that's why we're not really spending too much time on this. But Atlanta and the Los Angeles Chargers, kind of fun here. No Julio Jones. Is Calvin Ridley scoring at plus 110?
I can't say if he's going to or not against a good Chargers secondary.
Those odds are super juicy, though.
It's nice, though. I mean, plus 110 for Calvin Ridley, plus 110 for Austin Eckler, plus 135 for Keenan. I don't hate any of those odds.
What about a Mike Williams boomer here at plus 225?
I mean, Mike Williams, he's a boomer guy. It's ride or die with Mike Williams.
So just out of curiosity.
Herbert's been interesting the last couple of weeks.
The Falcons and the So the Chargers are actually pretty decent here. They've allowed 12 touchdowns to the receivers. And Atlanta, why can't I find
11. They're down at 11. Oh, no, 11 touchdowns. Sorry, 23.
Wow. They allow a lot of yards. So maybe we like the yards for Julio instead of touchdowns, maybe?
I just don't like Matt Ryan in LA without one of his receivers. I don't trust Matt Ryan this year. It's just, you can look at the trend line, but Ridley might, I mean, if he just nails Ridley's lines, maybe that's where you look on his yardage. I don't trust Matt Ryan to throw a touchdown this game. I'll say that much.
See the receiving numbers. So you're looking at Calvin Ridley, 74.5. That's right at the sweet spot.
Yeah, I think it is. I think like 72 to 78 is a good window.
Here's just look at the yards here. Atlanta allows almost 2,500 yards on the season to receivers. The Chargers are stingy as hell with 1,762 here.
Maybe it's
So Mike Williams, 45.5. Keenan Allen.
They took him off.
Not even on the list.
He's probably getting pounded. They probably were like, no thanks.
Mike Williams is an intriguing guy. I'm interested in Mike Williams.
Mike Williams can be fun if you're in a playoff game and your flexes are kind of questionable this week. I think Mike Williams could be a guy you're like, all right, I need a big one. Mike Williams, booma.
So I'm just looking quickly at the PPR points allowed by the Falcons defense here. Week 1, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. That's a really good Keenan Allen, Mike Williams comparison here. Both guys over 90 yards, 1 touchdown for DK. The Dallas Cowboys receivers, Amari Cooper, that would be a kind of a Keenan Allen play there. But then CeeDee Lamb also with 106. So this is really favoring quicker receiver.
58. I mean, he even
Robbie A. and DJ Moore. So these are all kind of Keenan Allen body types here. Justin Jefferson, 166. Kenny Galladay, that could be a Mike Williams type play there. Jerry Jeudy had that one nice play with 125 there. Mike T, 104, and again, Mike Thomas, 105. So this is Keenan Allen territory for me, man.
Yeah, it is.
Fortunate that we can't get into it. So do we like Keenan Allen to score a touchdown then? If we can't get his yards.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert's a good. He likes to spread the ball around. He throws touchdowns to different people. So if this is a game where we think Herbert has a nice bounce back, which can't count him out.
It's below his season averages. He's at 274.5. I think this could be a really good play here, but people are into it at minus 129. So I don't think I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel Matt Ryan without Julio. I'm just kind of like off the Atlanta offense, and Herbert, the Sherbert against Atlanta at home. They probably win, but these are the two teams where like they're winning games all year, and then in the fourth quarter they're blowing them. So who's going to blow it, this week?
I don't really have these two teams are wildly unpredictable. I don't mind staying away from this game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have some more bets on our list that we're confident on. It's pretty concentrated this week, I think, for us on our bets.
I noticed I missed a game here. Jets Seahawks. Who's scoring on this one? DK Metcalf minus 143. They love that one. Lockett minus 125. Carson minus 125. I'm not picking any New York Jet to score here, but with an odds boost, are you more intrigued with Lockett and Carson? Carson for sure for me.
I think Carson gets in the end zone again. There's no reason why he doesn't. The team has already said, we're going to start leaning on him. So you get him a odds boost. I think you get that down to minus 104, minus 105. And that feels pretty good.
I did want to pull up a question here from Stephen Drakes. If you're still hanging out in the chat room, thanks for the question. He's asking, do we start Juju Smith-Schuster or Kareem Hunt? I think I'm going with Juju. In a game against Buffalo on Sunday Night Football, Buffalo's offense is trending hot. Steelers' defense is without Joe Hayden and Robert Spillane. I could see Buffalo putting up a good fight with points there, and Juju Smith-Schuster going up against – I don't know if Trey White's going to be – is he really a lockdown shadow corner? They kind of move Juju in the slot and do kind of all things with him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think the targets and the opportunity are going to be there for Juju. Whereas Kareem Hunt, you have to worry about Nick Chubb. You have to worry about the Baltimore Ravens defense. Not as an exciting play, especially since we saw Nick Chubb kind of pull away from him the last couple games. So I think Juju is going to be the start there for me.
I would agree on there. I think, that Buffalo-Pittsburgh Sunday Night Football game is going to be a fun one. Baltimore, Cleveland, the classic AFC North battle or AFC East battle. It's going to be a grinder.
So we're going on a little over an hour here. We'll wrap things up really quickly. Give me one player, touchdown odd here. San Francisco 49ers, Washington football team. This is tough.
This is tough because I want to say Mostert, but the usage last week was so depressing for San Francisco.
Plus 130 though, so you could get an odds boost on that and still get 20% plus on a plus 150 on 130.
Yes, sir. So you get that up to 20% is over 150 plus 150. It's probably plus 160.
Raheem the Dream to win some money. That could be fun. I was just kind of looking to see if there's a reception total for J.D. McKissick, but there's not. So that
take the over.
Yeah, let's just quick check the receiving. They don't got any receiving odds for that game either.
I think this is a game that the San Francisco 49ers, they can defensively get to Alex Smith. Revenge game, though, so you got to watch out for that.
So we're wrapping up the show here. We do have they allow us to put 12 bets on the slip here. We usually fill that up in a given Saturday show. So let's put two more names on the board here to score a touchdown, man. We left a couple guys off that we thought would score.
Do you have JT's receiving over on that list? Because I think that's what I'm taking. 15.5.
Oh yeah. So
how do you feel about it? I mean, it feels pretty.
Only because the odds boost. Yes. So if you wanted to get a piece in this game, that one does make a lot of sense to me. Out of curiosity, let's just see what our boy has been up to. There we go. And he's probably been over this in at least the last 2 or 3 games. So 44, 24, 25. I've said too much. Take it and run. But But in terms of one more person to score a touchdown tomorrow,
Take the shot out. Who you want?
we did hint at Tyreek Hill at minus 134. You'd have to, ignore Kelsey to get the odds boost there, so I'm probably not doing that. We hit on A.J. Brown and both James Robinson here. That's a really good, strong play there. We're all up in this Vikings-Tampa Bay game.
Use your DFS stack for the week.
This is the game you want. Yeah, this is the game that you want to target. And I think it's actually Kirk Cousins at quarterback that you want.
Right.
I mean, I don't have a problem going with putting money on Thielen and Jefferson to score. They're both plus odds. You're winning money either way. And the chances – they both scored touchdowns in the last 3 games. So I'm not afraid to do that and put money on Thielen and Jefferson. And it's plus 105. The dude's got 12 touchdowns on the year. That's doesn't make sense to me. So I like that. Just do due diligence here. Again, you pointed out Kenyon Drake here. That's a pretty good one, and especially if you get the odds boost on that, plus one. That's going to be plus 122 or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I like where that's at.
That one could be kind of fun. DeAndre Hopkins at plus 150. He's kind of a play. He hasn't scored many touchdowns this year, so you could say that he's due, maybe. But plus 150 plus a 20% boost to that. Whoo, that could be a breadwinner there.
Plus 180, you get it at if you take that. Boost.
That one's fun. Again, I think Allen Robinson is a pretty good one there. He's only got 5 touchdowns on the year. I'm diving into Montgomery in that game, but if you wanted another player, sure, Allen Robinson could be interesting. Cowboys Bengals. Give me Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown, man. I think I like that a lot. I don't know if I want to put that on the website as one of our locks, but the dude's trending hot. The dude is trending hot, and Cam Akers. I'm getting Cam Akers FOMO right now, man. Rookie running backs. The only rookie running back that I don't want right now is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is just messed up.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, this is the time of the year where the rookies, they got a lot. They start getting their usage. They're fresh. They're ready to prove themselves. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, exactly.
Order of the football of the season here. They're not rookies anymore. Jesse, whatever. Give me Kamara with the odds boost, minus 134. I think that could be fun. I don't know what the 20% would get it at, but probably that 112 range, minus 112.
Close to that, yeah.
And then Falcons Chargers. We didn't pick anybody from this game, but if I'm gonna do Calvin Ridley at plus 110 because Julio's out. I mean, Matt Ryan has no choice to throw the ball to Calvin Ridley. And I don't know what games Calvin Ridley's been out or Julio Jones has been out. But we do see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games where Calvin has not scored. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games where he has scored. So maybe he evens things out this week. I don't know.
That's a weird game.
Not a very strong read for me here. I think Keenan Allen's really attractive at plus 135, but I kind of like Mike Williams' extra spicy special here at plus 225. I might put that. I might vouch for that one on the website as an extra spicy one.
Yeah, why? I mean, why not? 225, good shot against a Falcons secondary that lets up a lot of yards. Mike Williams is one of those guys who he can get that big 40-yard touchdown and game over, but he can also get it close to the red zone.
Right. What about Brandon Ayuk at 210?
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, he's alpha. I mean, Brandon Ayuk is an alpha receiver. So the targets are going to be there. Washington football team pretty good against receivers. And I just don't know. Nick Mullins is just...
Any strong reads on the Buffalo Steelers game? We usually don't do the night games. That's kind of like our own side thing there. But Josh Allen touchdown.
Stephon Diggs, Sunday night football spectacular, 30 burger.
30. No Joe Hayden. I'm probably not going to put any Bills Steelers stuff on the website, but guys, no Joe Hayden in this one. Stephon Diggs is probably going to have a pretty nice game. And then I do think Josh Allen rushing touchdown plus 175. Take the boost on that. Woo.
That's a big boost.
That's a big boost. Josh Allen's going to rush for a touchdown, man. That one, I don't mind putting that on the website, even though it's a Sunday night football game. But I would bet Josh Allen scores a touchdown. Let's just do a little doozy here. He's got 6 on the year. He still has to hit, his averages of 8 to 9 touchdowns on the season. He's been kind of pretty hot in this department. It's been kind of every other situation the last couple games here. But I would, again, they threw 4 touchdowns last week. They're not going to throw 4 touchdowns this week. They're going to have to do some physical stuff when they get to the goal line. And I think Josh Allen's going to probably sniff the end zone in this week. So I do kind of like that. Maybe we'll kind of figure out what we want to do towards the end here. But we have a lot of good bets. We'll be uploading in the link below. We do have the YouTube description where I have the link for the player prop link where we'll post probably, I don't know, because we have, how many do you want to post this week?
Oh, I mean,
because we're at a good number now, about 75. I don't want to do 10. I don't want to, maybe we do 7 or 8 this week and then we hit another, we do the inverse 7 or 8 next week to get us up to an even 90.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think between the Gaskin line, the JT line, it's not all touchdown props. But I like those 2 for sure. And I mean, there's a couple touchdowns that we really like this week.
So we'll get those uploaded
to 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range.
But I guess any other parting thoughts here? We're going to be uploading those to the website in just a bit. We got a lot of fun. It's fantasy football playoff season, and it's also like you talked about it before, Vikings Buccaneers. The loser is going to be feeling like a double loser this weekend, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of good football to be had. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any other thoughts. Anything from you real quick?
Yeah, I mean, MHP says, thanks for the show. You are very welcome. We have fun doing this. Always ask us questions. Spread the love if you can, Trying to grow the brand a little bit. This is it. Playoff season for your fantasy lineups. But if you're not in the playoffs, hey, you know what?
This is what we got
for props, man. That's what we get the props for.
The prop show is your friend. So I don't know. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat room, Cali Cowboy, MHP, Stephen Drakes. I'll be doing a live show tonight at 7 o'clock where I'll just cover over any of the player news we get today and just doing start-sit questions. So if you guys have more info you need, that'll be the place to do it, 7 p.m. Central Time. But again, thank you for your time. Thanks for hanging out. You can follow Jesse at the fellow JGM. You got us here on the screen. You can get me at the fellow KGB. So again, have a good rest of your Saturday. Good luck. Let's win some money and win some fantasy playoff matchups. Peace.
Let's ride.